Now the president of the Real Estate Board of New York says he will work with Mamdani if he wins the mayor's race. Jim Whelan also thinks Mamdani should hire the best people he can. His words. Joining me now is Noble Black. It's almost certain right now. Again, anything can happen. We haven't had the debate yet. That might show his weaknesses in a way that the public hasn't seen his weaknesses exposed. But if he is mayor, the real estate moguls are going to have to deal with him, right? I mean, they can't ignore him.
You can't ignore the mayor, right? He's going to be there, and it's going to be a reality, and you're going to have to try to work with him to moderate these policies or make sure that some of the more extreme things he has in mind don't get through. Yeah, but it's going to be a reality.
What worries you the most about Mayor Mamdani?
What worries me the most realistically, I think, is probably the crime. You know, if he defunds the police, if he goes in and kind of has a sentiment in terms of we don't need the wealthy, let's raise taxes, and it doesn't matter where the wealthy are. I don't think it's going to be as extreme as what worries me like that. I mean, if you're asking me, like, what's the nightmare scenario, that would be the nightmare scenario. I think it's not going to be a good thing for the city. I think, again, it's going to be, he's going to try to do higher taxes. He's going to have priorities that are not in line with where I think growth is for the city. But I think a lot of what he was saying in the campaign is unlikely to all come to fruition. Are
you worried that there will be a massive exodus of commercial real estate from New York? Because a lot of people have been on the fence for since the pandemic. And since the de Blasio regime, de Blasio was also, in my mind, a socialist. Mm-hmm. Those people who are on the fence might jump off the fence and say, the heck with it, I'm going to Florida.
I'm not worried about that yet. And I'll tell you, when you ask the question of mass exodus, no. I think if the city starts slowly getting worse and worse and worse, right, then those decisions are going to be made. People will decide, okay, we're not going to be in New York. They don't want us. It doesn't make sense to be here. I don't think that's a November 15th, everyone packs up and goes home, or February 1st, right? I think that takes a while. I think people are going to try to work with him, try to moderate him, try to keep the city going the direction that it's been going in, right? And I think if he fights that, and if he really does start sending the city down the drain, you're going to have businesses that will move. You'll see people moving for taxes, but I don't think that's an overnight effect.
And we were talking in the break how he does have ambitions. Obviously, he's 31 years old. He has ambitions beyond being the mayor of New York, and he may not want to screw those chances up by being too radical while he's mayor. He may feel more inclined to deal with the capitalists once he becomes mayor.
That's where my money is. I think he is young. He's only been in elected office for 4 years. He's never been an executive, right? I think for him to get the nomination, he probably came in, felt like he needed to say some very extreme things, which did ignite his base. A lot of people were very excited about these new ideas. I think it's probably going to be a very different story when he's in office. He has to work with the governor to raise taxes. He has to work with different community boards. He has to work with different business leaders. And I do think he wants to go further. I think that's going to be a governing effect on him.
But the other side of the Pollyannish view is that he's going to follow through with his things enough so that people will leave the tax base, will leave New York as it did in the late 1970s. That led to the bankruptcy of New York. If not literal, almost practical bankruptcy of New York. Could that happen again?
Look, that is the nightmare scenario, and that's certainly something that a lot of our clients are talking about. But I will tell you, none of them are planning to move on November 5th if he wins the election. That's something that people are talking about, and they're asking how likely is that? Again, they're looking at where do things go and how quickly does it happen. It's on people's mind, but I don't think people are there. And I think I think it's a long way, and frankly, probably a few years before it gets to that place, if we get to that place.
One thing I'm almost sure about, if New York does go bankrupt, as it did in the late 70s, Donald Trump in the White House is not going to bail New York out. It's not going to be, they're not going to have that line of credit that they did back then, which essentially saved the city. Great to see you. Best of luck to all of us. We're all going to suffer the consequences of this. Good to see you, Noble Black.
You as well. Thank you.